is that you don't allow that anger to cause you to do that which is displeasing to your Lord.
Okay. Let's go.
And I mean,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, not just with jealousy, but with, the brother kind of already said this, but not just with jealousy, but with any emotion, we all deal with, having to control our emotions. We may be in a situation where, we might want to lash out, but we're able to calm ourselves down and look at the situation and so I mean, it's not unfathomable that a person can be jealous and yet control that.
Sure. Okay, let's go to Justice from North Philadelphia. Justice, you're on 900 AM WURD. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Marlon and Tariq.
You're welcome, brother.
And to your two guests there, speaking of what we were just speaking about, jealousy, there was a Muslim lady last week who killed her husband because of...
There was a Muslim woman last week who's accused of killing her husband. Yes.
Okay, absolutely. But that's part of, what comes with being in that type of Islam.
Well, let me ask you this question, Justice. Have we seen in the papers, especially in the city and county of Philadelphia, of women who were not in relationships with men any longer, and the man is in a relationship with a new woman, in fact, a wife, for many years, and the woman kills the man? Or a relationship we can talk about out of Philadelphia where the woman was the pilot. I think she was an astronaut, and she was in a relationship with some man. And she drove, I don't know how many miles across the country to get to kill the woman because of jealousy that she had for another woman. Not because of polygynous, a plural relationship, but because of the rage of jealousy. Or have we not had relationships or situations in Philadelphia where someone says to another person, it's over? Not that they're going to see another individual, man or woman, whoever it may be, but that the relationship is over, is resolved. There's no longer any affection. There's no longer any compatibility, and the person flips because they don't like that news, and they kill a person. And that wasn't because of plural marriage. That was because of the emotion of jealousy. So we have to be very careful. And the reason why I say this is that, first of all, there has been no evidence put forth on this woman. There have been allegations. And in Islam, without evidence, then we don't have anything.
You said to speak about that. I want to throw a few things out.
No, but you did say, you started out by saying...
He just made a comment. He just made a comment, an observation.
I want to interject also. He did make a comment. He said that the woman murdered her husband. But I want to interject, though. Even in this issue, I have a case where polygyny may have stopped the murder, perhaps. I don't know if you know, but a few years ago, a rabbi from Cherry Hill, there was a rabbi from Cherry Hill who fell in love with another woman. He had an extramarital affair, and he fell in love with this woman. So, as opposed to divorcing his wife and the problems and the stigma that would have been attached to that with regards to his position as a rabbi over his congregation, he wound up killing his wife. I'm sure you heard of the case of the rabbi in Cherry Hill. Now, what if this rabbi, if this was a situation where polygyny was actually something that wasn't stigmatized here in the States, and he was able to have both wives? Maybe that would have been a situation where he wouldn't have to have killed his wife in that instance. The point that I'm making is that, as the brother just mentioned, polygyny is not the cause of murder. Rather, it was the jealousy with regards to sharing a relationship with another person that was the cause that we believe of murder.
Justice, did you have another question or something?
Yeah, I do. And I want to say that as when we were enslaved as people and brought to this country and that thing, we didn't have Islam or any type of it.
No, actually, we did have it. Actually, you're incorrect in that statement. In Mali, Mansa Musa, who was from West Africa, from the West African kingdom of Mali, or Timbuktu was actually the capital of that particular region. They were Muslims. Mansa Musa actually made Hajj, and he.
No, I'm not saying
wait,
that.
Let me finish. He took so much gold with him upon the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca, that he actually messed up the economy of Egypt because of how much gold he had spent in charity when he traveled. There were Sanga Ali after him in the Senegal Empire. So therefore, many of the West African tribes and nations were Muslim, and many of the slaves that came to America were indeed Muslims. You need only look at Roots by Alex Haley, and the first words in the book are what? Allahu Akbar. God is most great.
I'm not saying that we weren't.
No, you just said it.
what I'm saying is, after we were enslaved, we were denied the ability to practice Islam or any other religion.
Okay.
So, we couldn't read the Bible for hundreds of years and such, things like that. So, which brings us to where our people were stripped away from each other, mothers from fathers and husbands from wives and these different things. And at that point, people were just married to one person after being in the Americas or something like that, and then they were perhaps taken away from each other, never to be seen again. My only thing, I have a couple questions to ask you, is that if it's fornication and different laws that you go by, and fornication is one of them, then how many, if you have 4 wives, then after that, is it fornication, or is it after you have 2 wives? I mean, what is fornication after that? And then how many people can you love at once? I mean, is you going to love 2, or you love 3, or you love 4, or you love one better than the other? I don't understand that.
Well, first of all, with regards to fornication...
I'm going to hang up and listen. Thank you.
Thank you for your call, Justin.
Fornication is any illicit sexual act that takes place outside of the confines of marriage, whether it be you have 1 wife and you fornicate with a woman outside of the confines of marriage, whether you have 4 and you fornicate with women outside of the confines of marriage. What fornication is to commit this act outside of the confines of marriage. And of course, if one is married, then it's considered adultery, which is stronger than just fornication itself. With regards to the issue of love, then the scholars historically, there's a scholar in Islam known as Ibn al-Jawziyah, and he has a book called Rawdatul Muhibbeen, the Garden of the Lovers, and he discusses some time ago with regards to the different types of love. And he discusses that there is a passionate love and there's a companionate love. That passionate love is that love that you feel, the heat of passion, as we say. And then there's a companionate love that kind of, after that passionate love kind of cools off, and you have the relationship between your spouse of mercy and honor between one another. Then there's no question that a man can love more than one woman in this fashion. And I mean, I don't think that history has shown anything different. Rather, a man can love more than one woman, as we mentioned in the narrations earlier. But if he prefers one, he loves one more than the other. This is something that is out of his control. As there's a verse in the Quran that people have misinterpreted, where Allah says, "And you will never be able to deal justly between women, even if it is your ardent desire." And some say, see, that's a proof right there that you can't have more than one wife, because you can't be just between them. Now, what that means is that you are not going to be able to control your heart. I mean, you may prefer one may be funnier or more attractive to you than the other. But even with that, at the end of the verse, we have to take the whole of the verse. We can't take it out of context. Allah says, so do not lean towards one. Do not lean towards one. So even if you had that feeling, it is not permissible for you to demonstrate it with your actions.
Because if you do, what happens?
But when you say you're not permissible, I mean, you have to exercise the discipline.
No question.
I mean, I understand that the guidelines are there, but, again, it kind of goes back to my question is as to whether or not, people follow them. I mean...
Well, first things first. So the first thing that must be understood is the Prophet Muhammad, he made a very beautiful statement when he said that the people are like 100 camels. You're not about to find one that is suitable to ride. And what the scholars say that means is that every human being has faults. We all come with flawed creatures, right? So that does not mean that a man, even in monogamy, is going to be perfect in his relations between him and his wife. So yes, there's going to be times when a man may fall short, or even a woman in her responsibilities towards her husband may fall short. But again, the overwhelming benefit of polygyny overrides that, and then we have been encouraged to, or commanded, I should say, to remain firm upon those edicts that have been mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet. So yes, if your question is, does everyone stick